Listen, sisters, y'all are so beautiful, and y'all realize that y'all would look so much better if you wasn't walking around like a goddamn thot with your ass showing. Like, you would look way better if you covered yourself up. Look at that. Get the camera on that. Get the camera on that. Right? Don't nobody want that. Y'all are not smart.
See the old trending young nigga gon' live again when Vladimir press that button, no Benjamin. What you know about that? Where I'm from, every day you get popped there. But it's about to be a change, you can't stop that. And everything is at stake, no outback. Black shirt with the fringes and the 5 head. And I still don't fuck with reds like a house cat. Yeah, Howard Shot coming back, trying the wild press. So much blood won't be spilled, you can't mop that. It's up like a top hat.
Right? Hey, sister, walking past with the jean jacket. I got one question for you, right? So, do you have a husband?
No.
No? All right, so look, listen to this, right? Listen to this.
Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers. Yet return again to me, saith the Lord.
Right, so if you did have a man, or you had a husband, right, and you cheated on him, is he supposed to take you back? Right, according to the Bible, the answer is no. He's not supposed to take you back, because once you go and you be with another man, then you will be considered defiled, right? But it likens us, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right, to God's wife. And it said that we played the hoe, right? And we went and served other gods. But God said that him being so merciful and loving as a husband to us, he's still going to bring us back. Even though he allowed us to go into slavery for 500 years, right? And to be at the bottom of this wicked-ass society, to be catching hell, to be being lynched, to be being gunned down in the streets like animals, right? To being locked up, right? It said that he was still going to take us back, right? So that's an example, just one example of a practical, right, situation that our people can understand, right? The dynamic between a man and his wife. If the wife cheats on the man is like, hell no, to hell with her, right? I'm not taking her back. And there's nothing wrong with that. But God said that in his infinite mercy and in his infinite love for us, he's still going to take us back, even though we cheated on him, right? So us being like the wife of the Most High God, we got to find out what it is that makes our husband happy, and we got to do it, right? Get Colossians 3 and 18. Right? We have to do it, right? We owe that to the Most High God, being his special people, right? Being his principal creation, right? We're the best people and everybody else is beneath us.
That's right.
They never taught you this in the church. They never taught you this in the schools, right? Because the church and the schools both teach white supremacy.
That's right. That's
right? Right? But we're teaching the truth of the Bible. Read that.
Colossians chapter 3 and verse 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands.
Right. What is a wife supposed to do?
Submit yourselves unto your husbands.
Right? A wife is supposed to submit unto her husband. Right? Go to Ezekiel 16. Right? So like I told you, right? Us being God's wife, right? We're supposed to submit unto his wishes. Right? Like if you had a husband, right, and he pays the bills, right, and he puts the food in the house, right, it would be your duty, right, if he says, when I come home, I want this house spotless and I want a hot meal on the table, right, then that would be your duty to provide that, right, because he's holding up his end of the agreement, right? Go ahead.
16 what?
16, start at 10. Or no, start at 6.
This is Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse
I got
6.
one more for you.
And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thine own blood.
Right, so the Most High God likened us to now is like a baby, right? A baby girl that was left out in a field to die, right? Go ahead.
I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood.
Right, when you were covered in blood still, read.
Live. Yeah, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great. And thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thy hair is grown. Whereas thou wast naked and bare.
Right, so this baby was left to die out in the field, right? God said he found this baby left out in the field to die and rescued this baby and brought this baby into his home, cleaned the baby up, right? Go ahead.
Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love.
Right now, this little girl, right, this girl that God found, right, she's now old enough for love, right? Go ahead.
And I spread my skirt over thee.
So the Most High said he put the blanket over her, right? Go ahead.
And covered thy nakedness.
Right, and cover her nakedness, right? So now what happens when a man invites a woman into his bed, and she gets in his bed, he puts the blanket over her. What happens then? Right, so that's what it's saying, right? But this is just a metaphor, right? Because it's likening us to this girl. Go ahead.
Yeah, I swear unto thee, and entered into a covenant with thee.
Right, which when a man and a woman, right, come together, right, that act of sex is a covenant or a contract, right? Sex is marriage according to the Bible, right? It's not you have to go in front of the white man or in front of a damn Catholic pastor, right, some homosexual priest, right, and have him marry you by the state of Pennsylvania, right? The act of sex is marriage. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord God, and thou becamest mine.
Right, and we became his wife, right? He didn't literally penetrate us, right? But he put his spirit inside of us, right? And entered into a covenant with us, right? That covenant is with us. It's not with everybody. Get Jeremiah 31 and 31. You say you had a precept, go ahead.
This is the book of SICARII chapter 37 and verse 12. But be continually with a godly man.
Right, the scriptures say to be continually with a godly man, right? So when you're looking for a husband, because you say you didn't have one, right? It should be a godly man who, you know what?
Whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry.
Right, it said to be continually with a godly man that cares about you and that's going to guide you in the right direction, right? This Bible, right? This book, our history book, right? It has our history as well as, right, our code of conduct, right? What we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to behave, right? So we have to do our due diligence, right, in studying and learning how we should behave, right? And then we need to apply that in our lives because this is our health and wealth, whether it be physical, spiritual, emotional, psychological, right? Or you could just choose to not listen, right? And we could just keep on getting killed and being in the rape, robbed, and murdered, right? Go ahead.
Ezekiel 31 or Jeremiah 31?
Yeah, Jeremiah 31, start. I got one more for you, sis. Go ahead. 31 and 31.
This is Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Right, so a marriage is a covenant, right? God already married us and then divorced us, but he said that he's going to remarry us, right? Or make a new covenant. Read.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break.
See, we broke the covenant, right? We played the whore. Go ahead.
Although I was an husband unto them.
You see that? He said, even though I was a husband to them.
Saith the Lord. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Right. He said that he was going to put it in our hearts, right? He was going to program us biologically to do everything that he says. This is the implementation of the new covenant, right? And contrary to what you may have heard in church, right? This has not happened yet, right? Because our people are still sinning, our people are still going off, right? And how could God marry a defiled bride? That don't make no type of sense, right? So now, is your father a so-called African-American man? Right, so if your father would be a so-called African-American man, then that would make you an Israelite of the tribe of Judah. Yep, that would make you of the tribe of Judah, right? Which so-called Christ, so-called Jesus, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, was also of the tribe of Judah, right? So if you was alive 2,000 years ago, right, Yahweh Shai or so-called Jesus, that would be one of your family members, right? It's not some white man. Pull the sign up. Right? It ain't this guy right here. When we talk about Jesus and Yahweh Shai, right, it's not this guy. This guy is the biggest tool of propaganda that white supremacy has ever had. That's right. Right? They use this to brainwash our people to love the white man and to hate our own selves. Right? But so-called Jesus don't look like that. The Bible gives you a description of Jesus that is like this. It says that this looks like your grandpa. Right? So you see the power in that? Right, and understanding that we are kinfolk, right, to the greatest people on the planet Earth, right? We're not just slaves, right, and criminals and thugs and savages, right? I got one last scripture for us, Hosea 1 and 10, right? And with that, I'm gonna let you go, sis, because I know you're busy, right? Go ahead.
Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10. Yet Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
Right, it said the number of the children of Israel will be as the sand of the sea. Right, so if you look at DMX before he died, he had Exodus 1 and 7 tattooed on his neck. Right, which Exodus 1 and 7 talks about the children of Israel being fruitful and multiplying in the land of Egypt. Right, which nowadays, right, America is spiritually Egypt, right, and the children of Israel, right, are known as so-called Negroes and Latinos. Right, these are the children of Israel who are waxing fruitful in the land of Egypt. Right, because there's no new thing under the sun. Everything happens in cycles, right, which the Bible says. But go ahead.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
Right, which don't our people have a lot of kids? Right, would you say that the white man and his house is like the sand of the sea? No, because they're dying off faster than they reproduce. Right, whereas we don't die, we multiply, right?
Which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them,
right, in the place where it was said unto them, what?
Ye are not my people.
Right, which in America, right, so-called Negroes, right, and so-called Indians, right, we've been called everything but a child of God. We've been called a nigga, a spig, a criminal, a savage, a thug, right, a super predator, right? We've been called all of these things, right? So it said, in that place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, what?
There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
Ye are what?
Ye are the sons of the living God.
Right, that we are the sons and daughters of the living God. Right, that's the message that we have for our people. Right, but being the sons and daughters of the living God, then we have to act like it. Right, we can't just be acting like a nigga and a thot. You know what I'm saying? Right, so that's the message. Just that you're an Israelite from the tribe of Judah.
That's
right.
right.
There, right, we ain't got that much time left. Right, you got to make the choice today. Right, to get it right, to start getting it right. Because it's a process, right? But it starts with making a choice, right? To coming back to the Lord, right? That's it. Go ahead. Hosea 5 and 15.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction they will seek me early.
Right, the Lord said that he was going to turn, right, until we seek him, right, and in our affliction we will seek him early. Right, our people love to seek the Lord, right, when their baby is in a damn hospital bed with a gunshot wound, right? They love to seek the Lord, right, when the mortgage is 2 months behind and they about to come repossess the house tomorrow, right? That's when our people love to call on the Lord, right? But at that time, it's already too late for y'all, right? The baby done already got shot, right? Your little son already done went to jail. He's already doing a bid, right? Y'all don't know anything about taking preventative measures, right? Which the preventative measures that y'all need to take, right, is stop playing these goddamn games and come back to the Lord in sincerity and in truth. Stop playing, right? You got something? Hosea 4 and 6, go ahead.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me.
Right, it said, my people, the biblical Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right, we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, right? And I say this every week, and I'm going to continue to say it, right? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the best people on the planet Earth, but y'all are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, right? Y'all think that y'all are so smart, but y'all don't know a thing in reality except for how to be a demon, right? All y'all know is how to serve Satan, right? And his conduit, the devil, which is the white man by extension. That's all y'all know, right? You got something? Yeah, go ahead.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore, I will change their glory into shame.
Right? The Most High God changed our glory into shame. Right? The Most High God changed our glory into shame. Right? We used to be the most regal, royal, majestic, aristocratic, right? Kingly people on the planet Earth. Right? And now you're a damn nigga. Right? Now you're a terrorist. Right? Because in case y'all haven't seen, right, in New York the other day, there was a shooting on the subway, right, and they blamed it on a so-called black man, right? If y'all didn't see, last week in New Jersey, right, there was a so-called anti-Semitic hate crime committed against the Hasidic community, right? Where a car was stolen, right, by a so-called black man, right? 2 people were ran over, right, and a 3rd person was stabbed, and all of those people are from the Hasidic community, right, the Orthodox community, right? So now they're saying that this is an anti-Semitic hate crime, right? But when the Chinese man shoots 5-year-old Kobe Daniel, right, out of his window, right, for playing outside, when Kobe Daniel, a little 5-year-old boy, gets shot, right, that's not a hate crime, right? When George Floyd gets a knee on his neck for 9 minutes until he suffocates and dies, right, that's not considered a hate crime, right? And the Most High God is the one that allowed this to happen to y'all, right? And this is just him turning your glory into shame, right? Go to Proverbs 20 and 20. Or no, as a matter of fact, get 2nd Ezra 16 and 70, right? Because this incident, right, with the shooting that happened in New York, right? The shooting that happened in New York was to demonize our people, right? It was to justify attacks on our people. Listen, sisters, y'all are so beautiful, and y'all realize that y'all would look so much better if you wasn't walking around like a goddamn thot with your ass showing. Like, you would look way better if you covered yourself up. Look at that. Get the camera on that. Get the camera on that. Right? Don't nobody want that fun. Right? Don't nobody want that. Right? Get that in SICARII 25. You got it? Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 4 verse 22. For my people are foolish.
Right? Y'all are not smart. Right? Go ahead.
They have not known me.
Right.
They are Sodom's children.
Right? You are a dumb daughter, read.
Right. They have none understanding.
Right, and you don't have no understanding because you think that somehow you walking around like a thought box and a throat goat is going to get you ahead in society, right? But it doesn't, right? It's just going to get you what you have been for the past 500 years, which is the white man's goddamn bedwench, right? And the heathens play sex toy, right? To fly you out to Dubai and run a train on you and piss on you and spit on you and have it on video, and then you come back here and walk around like you're so high you might read.
They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge.
Right? They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. Get 1 Ezra 4 and 17. Right? Go ahead.
This is the book of SICARII, chapter 25 and verse 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman.
Right? Any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. Give me, in that same chapter, right, where it says self-willed woman is a bitch. Right? A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. You got it? Right? It says a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. Right? And we know what a female dog is. Right? So do y'all want to be esteemed that way? I would hope not. Right? But really, right, when we see young girls walking around like that, I'm going to really put y'all hip the game. Right? It's these old ladies' fault. Right? And it's their dad's fault. Right? Because they never showed them no discretion. They never taught them, right, how a lady is supposed to behave herself.
That's right.
Right? They just showed them how to be a thought. Go ahead.
This SICARII chapter 26 and verse 24 in the GNT. A shameless wife enjoys making a disgrace of herself, but a modest wife will act modestly even alone with her husband.
Right? These shameless women, right, they enjoy making a disgrace out of themselves, and they think that it's cute. And when you call them out on it, they'll literally bend over, right, and spread their open for the whole world to see. Right? That's disgusting. Read on.
A self-willed woman is a bitch.
It said what?
A self-willed woman is a bitch.
Right? Go ahead, keep reading.
A self-willed woman is a bitch. But a woman with a sense of decency honors the Lord.
Right, and hold that because you're going to read that at the top of your lungs when they walk out of this roast. Right? You got something? Go to Proverbs 31. Right? This is a goddamn shame. Right? As a matter of fact, no. Don't even go to Proverbs 31. Right? They wouldn't know a Proverbs 31 woman if she flew down from the sky. Right? And backhanded her. Right? Right, with a cold pimp slap. Now, go to.
This is like the first time I've ever seen that.
But I told you again. All right, go ahead. Find your precept. Right? Yeah, they got ass up, right? They got no shame, right? Go ahead.
For 4 and what?
Start at 17.
First Ezra chapter 4 and verse 17. These also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men, and without woman cannot men be.
Right now, go to 27.
Verse 27. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for woman.
Right? It says many have perished, have erred, and have sinned for women. Right? Especially women like this. Right? It says a whorish woman could be known by her haughty looks and her eyelids. Right?
Right. It's SICARII chapter 26 and verse 25.
Right? Look, sister, this scriptures is for y'all. Right? And it's because we love y'all. Read.
A self-willed woman is a bitch.
Right? The Bible just called y'all both some bitches. Read.
Right. A self-willed woman is a bitch. But a woman with a sense of decency honors the Lord.
Right? But if you had a sense of decency or if you had any honor, right, then we wouldn't talk to you that way. Right? Why should I show you respect when you don't even respect your own self? Right? That don't make, right? You don't have no respect for your own self. You don't got no respect for your father or your mother walking around like that. So how the hell you expect a man to respect you? Right? Get yourself in order. Get right. Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err.
Right? And Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion caused y'all to err. They got y'all out here looking like two damn throat goats. Go ahead.
And destroy the way of thy path.
And they destroyed the way of our path. And you see that, brother, right? Am I wrong for telling them to put clothes on? No. Right? No, not at all, right? Right? But our people are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. They have all the knowledge in the world about being a thought, right? But they don't know nothing when it comes to being modest, right? And covering up the cleavage and putting a hair wrap on. They don't know nothing about that, right? You agree with that, right? And then especially considering the fact that
that could be your daughter,
right,
your cousins. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So that's what we out here to do, OG, right? We teaching our people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that we are the biblical Israelites. We are the true Jews. We're the children of God. We could prove it emphatically, right? We could prove that the churches are lying to y'all, right? We could prove that the schools are lying to y'all, right? About who you are. They're covering up, right? The identity theft that they committed against y'all. Right? I said the schools are lying to y'all, right? The churches are lying to y'all. Yep. The Christian pastor is lying to you, right? The Christian pastor, right? Hold up. First of all, the Christian church is a hoe house, period, right? Because the Christian church breeds hoes like that, right? And the pastor is a pimp, right? See that? You know what's going on, OG? You know what's going on, right? Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
Right? Because they would consider that to be a good thing. Right? But no. Right? It's a good thing when you see a sister that's covered up. Right? That's a good thing. That's a beautiful thing. Right? Discretion. Go ahead.
That put darkness for light and light for darkness.
Right? And them sisters, they put darkness for light and light for darkness, right? Because to them what's good is an OG thug trap of 5,000 that kills a whole bunch of his own people, right? And then goes and kisses the white man's ass after he done shot his own people. Right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel.
Right? It said there shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel. Right? So that's what we're trying to tell these sisters. Right? And it's love. Right? You was going off as a kid, right? Your parents punished you and they corrected you, right? Sometimes sharply, right? They might have smacked you in the back of the head. But that's love. They did that out of love. Right? So this is the same thing. Go ahead, read it again.
There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel.
Right? There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel. Right? Get Jeremiah 6 and 1. Or Jeremiah 6 and 2. Right? Go ahead.
Nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel.
Right? Nor a sodomite, nor a homo batiman of the sons of Israel. Right? Our people are not supposed to engage in these behaviors. But our people, right? Our women specifically, right? They need to be more modest. Right? They need to be more graceful and more eloquent. Right? Get Deuteronomy 28. Right? Because that's a part of the curse. Right? That's a part of the curse. Right? Because we fit the description of the people in this book, brother. Right? We fit the description all day, right? who's beautiful women, right, that's parading themselves around like whores, right, more than the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American woman? Not nobody, right? Why is that? Because these women, right, are eye candy to all of the other nations, right? And that goes back to slavery, right? And that gives them a false illusion of power, right? So that's what they're going to go with, because on top of all, right, these women are going to go to where the power is, right? So if the devil's got the power, then that's what they're going to be with, right? Don't that make sense, right? This is why the man was created as the head, though, right? So that a righteous man could lead his wife and lead his house, right, in order and in decency, right? You don't see the white woman walking around here like that, right? You don't see no Chinese woman walking around here like that, no Arab woman walking around here like that, because they know better. Why? Because they were taught by their elders and their parents discretion and shame and honor, right? Go ahead. Whatever you got, go ahead.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and I'll start at 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Right? The head of a woman is the man, right? But you can't tell those sisters that, right? Because according to them, right, they are the head, right? They're the ones that make the rules, right? They're the ones that wear the pants in the relationship. But like we read in Isaiah 3 and 12, right, this is why our communities, right, suffer as a whole. This is why, right, we're all out of order and we're all finished. Why? Because women and children are the people who lead us, right, and they cause us to err.